Just to the south of Boston lies a city rich with history and character. The city is Quincy, the hub of the South Shore. With a population of just over 92,000 and a suburban setting, Quincy has a lot to offer its citizens, merchants, and industries. In the next half hour, let's take a look at this diversified city's past, present, and most of all, Quincy's promising future. One of Quincy's most interesting points is her unique historical background. In September of 1979, Quincy celebrated the 200th anniversary of the drafting of our nation's first Constitution, the Massachusetts State Constitution. This document was drafted by John Adams and was a forerunner to the United States Constitution. The celebration was special. It started with a huge police escort for the constitutional documents. These heavily guarded relics were brought to the Adams houses in Quincy, birthplaces for two of our country's presidents, John Adams and John Quincy Adams. After a weekend of fireworks, dedications, and parades, citizens from Quincy and all over the state had been reminded of Quincy's role in our country's democratic government. The slogan, Quincy, birthplace of constitutional rights, fits perfectly. I'm Chuck Moshontz. This presentation is on the fascinating city of Quincy, a rapidly growing city on Boston's South Shore. We'll take a look at many of Quincy's attributes as we go along, such as her history, industry, retail district, and most of all, her rapid expansion and development. Again, Quincy has a very unique historical background. Two of our nation's presidents were born here, giving Quincy the nickname, the City of Presidents. We have here a piece of the film, Gift to the Nation. As well as anything, this clip is a basic summary of the Adams family contribution to our great nation.
From his father, John Adams inherited an adjacent cottage and 40 acres, where he was later to bring his bride, the lovely, intellectually inclined Abigail, and where he established his farm and his law practice. Here, the ideals which made Adams one of our nation's greatest statesmen matured. In this room, he drafted the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the first such document the world had ever seen, and the model upon which is based the Constitution of the United States. It was in this house also that John Quincy Adams was born, later to become the country's 6th president. The outbreak of the Revolution and development of the new nation kept John Adams from his home for extended periods. The letters of his beloved Abigail chronicled the times more vividly than the words of any historian.
The day, perhaps the decisive day, is come, upon which the fate of America depends. The constant roar of the cannon is so distressing, we cannot eat, drink, or sleep.
June 17, 1775. Throughout the day, and those that had gone before, Abigail watched the young men from townships to the south and west stream north toward Boston, along the muddy road beneath her window. Those who stopped were fed and cared for, a blanket to one, a bit of dried beef to another, encouragement for all. As the noise increased, she took young John Quincy Adams by the hand and climbed Penn's Hill to view the smoke and cannon flashes issuing from the terrible Battle of Bunker Hill. A cairn now marks the place to which they climbed, time and time again over the months, to watch their country struggle into being. How many times the boy who would one day lead the new nation gazed across the water toward Boston, his mother's words echoing in his ears.
From Penn's Hill, we have a view of the largest fleet ever seen in America. You could count upwards of 170 ships, their bare masts looking like a forest.
Abigail later learned that she was witnessing the huge fleet which was soon to evacuate the British from Boston forever. Jefferson, Franklin, the Continental Congresses, the Declaration of Independence, Commissioner to France, Massachusetts Constitution, treaties with Europe, with African nations, Minister to England's Court of St. James. Ah, what history was lived by John Adams before he moved his family into this fine house in the summer of 1788. Despite the gracious house, Adams, always the farmer at heart, continued to plow his fields and stock his barnyard. But it was Abigail who planted for posterity, for a rose which she placed nearly 200 years ago still blooms. The seeds of freedom were also planted early in Quincy. In 1636, the Reverend Mr. Wheelwright found himself banished from the colony for preaching his doctrine of free thought. The first parish church, however, survived. Its present building of Quincy granite was largely the gift of President John Adams. And in a crypt beneath the church lie the remains of the great statesman, his son, President John Quincy Adams, and their wives. The only place in the United States where two presidents are buried side by side.
Other great patriots from Quincy include Thomas Morton, Colonel Josiah Quincy, and John Hancock. Hancock was the Commonwealth's first governor and is perhaps best known as the first member of the Congressional Caucus in Philadelphia to sign the Declaration of Independence in 1776. It was here, at the site of the Adams Academy, that John Hancock was born and lived his life. Colonel Edmund Quincy's family lived in this beautiful country house for 4 generations. His daughter, Dorothy Quincy, married John Hancock. Colonel Josiah Quincy and many generations of his family lived in this beautiful homestead in the Wollaston section of Quincy. The mansion is typical of Revolutionary period architecture and is part of the Quincy Historical Trail. Another significant historical marker in Quincy is the site of our nation's first railroad, the Granite Railway. It was constructed in 1826 and was used to transport granite from Quincy's quarries to the Neponset River. This granite was used to build the Bunker Hill Monument in Charlestown. Quincy was rich with granite and has many huge water-filled granite quarries to testify to that fact. For years, Quincy was part of the town of Braintree. In 1792, the town of Quincy was incorporated. Not quite 100 years later, in 1888, Quincy citizens accepted a charter making Quincy a city. The population was just under 17,000. Today, Quincy is the 8th largest city in Massachusetts with a progressive and thriving retail and industrial center. Today, the population is about 92,000. Downtown Quincy and the other retail districts are currently undergoing a huge modernization and redevelopment project. Quincy Center has long been the hub of the South Shore for shopping and for public transportation access to Boston. The MBTA Red Line has been a great boon to Quincy's 3 main shopping centers. The trains come over the Neponset River Bridge from downtown Boston and stop first at North Quincy Station. This gives shoppers access to North Quincy's Norfolk Downs retail section. The Norfolk Downs is currently undergoing redevelopment and facelifting procedures. The next T stop is in the Wollaston shopping area. The Wollaston area is awaiting the approval of a federal grant to improve the business district. The train then proceeds to Quincy Center, where there is a huge municipally run parking garage over the station. This is the largest privately owned and city-operated parking garage in the country. For now, Quincy Center is the last stop on the T's Red Line, but the line is being extended to Braintree, with another station projected for South Quincy. The extension should be ready by 1981. There's no doubt about the MBTA's impact on Quincy's retail areas, but huge modern shopping malls in the suburbs have hurt downtown shopping districts, such as Quincy's. This is why Quincy officials have put so much effort into a plan to revitalize Quincy's downtown and outer business district. Right now, Quincy is in the midst of bringing all kinds of new businesses into the city. New buildings are being constructed, old ones renovated, and empty buildings are being filled with new merchants and office personnel. How are they doing all of this? Well, one man who is largely responsible is Quincy's mayor, Arthur Tobin. We'll let him explain.
Shortly after assuming office, approximately 23 months ago, it became crystal clear that if we were going to turn this city around, which I might add is the 8th largest city in our Commonwealth, we had to get out of a stagnated position and welcome new development into our community, and to broaden the tax base, and to create jobs, and to make downtown Quincy and the whole city of Quincy a more viable community. Very fortunate that 23 months later, we have announced that we have brought 4 major office complexes into the city of Quincy in excess of $43 million in construction. One of the projects we're working on is the Stop and Shop Campanelli development on a city-owned parking lot. That is the only development to date that there has been any tax incentive whatsoever. And in talking with many of the developers coming to our city, it was the conclusion of one and all that in order to revitalize the downtown business area, the first major development would have to receive some sort of a tax incentive to be the catalyst of future development. When we talked about a tax incentive, it's only to get the project off the ground. We have entered into an agreement with the Campanelli people that even though it is a tax incentive, if I left the parking area in its existing condition, we only receive approximately $55,000 per year in income at the present rate. With the tax incentive on this new development, we are going to be bringing to the taxpayers of this city 4 times that amount. So even though it is a tax incentive, more money is coming into the city treasury, and after a stipulated number of years, it will be taxed at its full fair market. So many times, tax incentives are used by some of the older major cities, not only throughout the Commonwealth, but throughout the country. On the other 3 major office buildings, no tax incentives were asked for and none were given. On top of bringing in $43 million in development, we have approximately $129 million worth of projects on the drawing board. We have put on 3 new industrial expansions. We have refurbished 10 storefronts, and we have filled 29 vacant stores. And I am most appreciative of the total amount of support we have received from the members of the business and banking community, from my elected officials, my colleagues in the city council, and from the city as a whole, because I think the mood and the times and the feeling are there to move in a positive vein. And it's another achievement because it's being done in one of the most economic critical times in the history of our country, when we have large inflation, the economy is stagnated, and jobs are at a premium. And we're going to be able to say to the city, which is closer to the hub of the universe, that Quincy is now turning itself around, and the people within the city are doing it on their own, and we're restoring pride and progress to our community.
All of this downtown revitalization for Quincy has taken a lot of sound ideas and painstaking planning. Two men who have dedicated themselves to Quincy's revitalization are the city's planning director, James Lydon, and downtown development coordinator, Reverend Bedros Baharian. It's their hard work that has Quincy rolling forwards.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Lydon. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Quincy. And I have with me here the Reverend Bedros Baharian, who is the Director of Development for the city. He'd like to explain to you a little about what we're doing in the downtown area. Mr. Baharian will start off speaking specifically about the new road that we have coming in from the expressway.
We're planning a new road from the expressway that will mean that downtown Quincy is only 90 seconds for Route 128. This has been something that's been needed since the time 128 and the expressway were built. The lack of it has frozen access to Quincy from the entire South Shore area and has made shopping malls south of us accessible to Quincy people who want to go out, but has made our downtown district inaccessible to people who live in the south. Jim, I talked to Bill Moore this morning, and he says we can start construction on the road in about 5 or 6 months. Does that sound good?
That sounds excellent to me.
I suppose we got to clear with the Downtown Development Committee of the City Council. That's a kind of a tough committee, although you know how to butter up the chairman, don't you?
Perhaps what we can tell the people about are the efforts to increase the daily population in the downtown. This is an aerial view of the downtown area. It is the city's philosophy that to increase the business, the mercantile business in the downtown, a number of things have to be done. Access has to be increased. We're attempting to do this by the use of the road, which Mr. Baharian had just spoken about. We're putting office buildings in strategic locations in the downtown so that on a daily basis we'll have people with paychecks in their hand who will be able to go out and take advantage of the shops along Hancock Street and the new retail development which we've proposed for the Hancock parking area. In a much larger sense, on the very peripheral areas of the downtown, we're attempting to increase the number of housing units. We're doing this by proposing multifamily high-rise housing in many of the key locations on the periphery. I would like to show you some examples of development that we have either in the building stages, the construction stages, or in the very, very late planning stages in the Quincy downtown. Starting in the north here, there's a proposed apartment building going in at the intersection of Hancock and Dimmick Streets. It will be a 10-story high-rise comprised of 196 units. It will also have approximately 30,000 square feet of office space. Coming to the south, this is the site here of the building that we're presently in. This is a new building, the new City Hall Annex. It was funded through federal government money, an EDA grant to the City of Quincy for approximately $2.4 million. Coming further south, the city has recently received a UDAG grant in the amount of $3.7 million to build a new parking garage over the MBTA air rights, which extend from the existing MBTA station in Quincy Square to a point approximately 30 feet off of Granite Street. In conjunction with this, we'll be building a new 10-story high-rise office building on the Della Chiesa parking area. This will be to house the corporate headquarters of Stop and Shop. Coming further south again, we have here a proposed site for a new hotel. The hotel would be developed by an individual by the name of Bob Sage. He has committed this development to the city. It would be composed of approximately 150 to 200 hotel units and function in the downtown with this new access coming in from the expressway. Going further to the east, this is the old Gilchrist building. Gilchrist was a retailer that was located in the city of Quincy approximately 8 years ago. The national chain went out of business, and when that happened, we were left with a vacant building. We've recently rehabbed this building with the use of commercial revenue bonds, and it will become the new home of a TJ Maxx, a Tempo woman's clothing store, and a Garland sweater outlet. Going further on to the east, this area designated in blue here is the Hancock parking area. The city at this point in time has designated a new developer for the area. The developer's name is Leatherby. Their proposal would include the construction of a 150,000 square foot retail facility in the rear, structured parking for almost 1,000 cars, and approximately 100,000 square feet of smaller retail uses along Hancock Street. You can see other areas designated around the periphery. These are the sites for the new apartment houses. We're also dealing with proposals for new office space both here and up here in the Quincy Bargain Center area. A major element in the city's effort to redevelop major areas within the downtown has been the cooperation between various departments within the government as well as with the Quincy City Council. We're fortunate to have with us here today Councilor Leo J. Kelly, who is chairman of the Downtown Development Committee.
Thank you, Jimmy. I would think that what you'd like to hear is the cooperation between the City Council and
You can see other areas designated around the periphery. These are the sites for the new apartment houses. We're also dealing with proposals for new office space both here and up here in the Quincy Bargain Center area. A major element in the city's effort to redevelop major areas within the downtown has been the cooperation between various departments within the government as well as with the Quincy City Council. We're fortunate to have with us here today Councilor Leo J. Kelly, who is chairman of the Downtown Development Committee.
Thank you, Jimmy. I would think that what you'd like to hear is the cooperation between the City Council and the administration and its desires to develop the downtown area, and that cooperation is there. It has been for the past number of years that I've been chairman of the Downtown Development Committee. It's a committee of the whole. All 9 city councils serve on it. In fact, this evening we'll be meeting at 5:30 to be discussing the concerns for the Campanelli Stop and Shop development. There'll be some motions made this evening, hopefully that they'll pass in to be taken down to Washington tomorrow by the planning director, who will be meeting with the mayor who's down there. We hope that they will be affirmative. I'm certain that they will be, and that we can go ahead with the actions that we have taken regarding Campanelli. The City Council, or members of it, have gone down in the past with the mayor and the planning department to Washington to lend its support to the UDAY grant, and we had successfully, I feel, won it. I think that's the word to use, won the grant, because that's what we were in, a strong competition with the rest of the country, and we won the UDAY grant, and it was an effort that was strongly united by the City Council and the administration, the Mayor's Office, planning, other departments in the city. And it's my honest belief that it's the only way the city of Quincy is going to address itself to its downtown area. That's a united front by all the elected officials in the city and all those who are appointed or to positions in the city, working as a unit along with those who are in private business in the downtown area. The business people are united with us in our concentrated effort in bringing around a big change in the downtown area, and it's our feeling that when the Campanelli Stop and Shop building is erected there, that it's going to be the start that's going to send everything off into the downtown area, just watching a new garden blooming in the spring. And this is what we hope for in the downtown area, and all the seeds are being planted, they're in place, and I think we're looking very good.
About 2 years ago, we had our first development conference. And at that development conference, somebody made the prediction, as a matter of fact, it was Reverend Baharian who made the prediction, that we would have in excess of $100 million worth of development activity within the city within 2 years' time. A lot of people chuckled about that. But today we stand at $129 million worth of new construction activity. That's including rehabbed retail space, approximately 670,000 square feet of brand new office space, It includes new industrial expansions that have occurred at such places as pneumatic scale. We've exceeded our best hopes. I expect that we'll be making major announcements in the future, and we look forward to a very, very rosy future.
The list of new developments in Quincy is lengthy and impressive, and there's still a lot more to go. Already, the National Fire Protection Association has broken ground for its new home in Quincy, a modern $10 million office building. The Stop and Shop Company is building its new $10 million offices here at the Della Chiesa parking lot site in Quincy Center. With the help of the $3.79 million UDAG grant, a parking garage will be built adjacent to the Stop and Shop offices. Plans for a new 200,000 square foot office building are now set, and ground has been broken in the State Street complex area. State Street is already the site of many offices and is one of Quincy's top employers. Many other new businesses have already come to Quincy or are planning to come in the near future. Quincy's impressive push for new retail outlets has also paid off. New stores are sprouting up all over the city, giving shoppers new choices and bringing the city much-needed tax revenue. In Quincy Square, the old Gilchrist building has been renovated and is now occupied by several new stores, including Garland Sports and TJ Maxx Company. On Newport Avenue, a new strip development has gone up with several new stores at the site. New hardware outlets are going up at two different locations, one at the old Stop and Shop on Adams Street and the other at the old telephone garage on Route 3A. Both will be large stores with much to offer shoppers. Even a discotheque has come to Quincy. California is a new disco chain whose origin is in Quincy, another first for Quincy. One thing we haven't mentioned about Quincy and her economy is the Quincy General Dynamics shipyard. The shipyard is essential to the whole state's economy. General Dynamics is one of the state's top employers, with over 4,500 workers at the Quincy yard. Quincy has had a shipbuilding tradition, of course, since the 1600s. Some of our country's finest battleships were built in Quincy. These days, the yard is primarily involved in building LNG tankers. A stable shipyard is a valuable asset to Quincy's future. Aside from Quincy's progressive development, Quincy is also a great place to live. You have all the advantages of a city, with the rapid transit, downtown shopping, and the close proximity to Boston. Downtown Boston is only 6 miles from Quincy. But Quincy's residential sections have a clean suburban setting, and the city offers 27 miles of shoreline with excellent beaches. Every year, Wollaston Beach holds one of the biggest sailing spectacles on the eastern seaboard, Quincy Bay Race Week. Housing in Quincy is clean and accessible. Luxury and elderly housing are sprouting up constantly in Quincy. Pricing is reasonable for such an advantageous city suburban setting. The advantages of bringing your business to Quincy or to just living here are clear. Quincy is a city with a prosperous future. So why not come grow with Quincy, the city of historic progression?